Welcome to the Charleston County Transportation Sales Tax Program, also known as RoadWise. We have a very interesting program for you today. We're going to be talking about intersection improvements. Now, for most of you who follow this program, and I hope that many of you do, you know that we're talking about the allocations projects, intersection, paving, smaller projects, and bonded projects, the larger projects. During early 2000, the voters of Charleston County decided that we needed to improve our roads, so we asked everybody to put a little money in through the half-cent sales tax. And so that's what we discuss on this program, and we want you to stay with us today because I think you're going to get a lot out of what's going to be happening on Johns Island as it has to do with the transportation sales tax. I'd like you to meet my guest today. She is Molly Lemin, and Molly is the construction project manager for the Johns Island Traffic Improvement Program, if you will, or several programs that are going to occur over there. And what I mean by that is a number of intersections are going to be improved. Welcome to our program. It's nice having you here. I very seldom do I hear, and I've done a lot of interviews, as you know, on this program, the Transportation Sales Tax Program, also known as RoadWise. And I rarely see an engineer, your staff of engineers or the county's staff of engineers, working on more than one project, and you've got a handful. How many intersection improvements are going to be made on Johns Island?
This is 6 different intersection improvements, all on Johns Island.
Are they all basically alike?
They're very similar. They're safety improvement projects to improve the intersections.
You know, Johns Island is really growing now, and there are lots of people who are moving from different parts of the country, so the residences are growing, the housing and businesses and the like. These intersections are important to that community because of safety. How is it going to be that safety would be a factor? How do you improve the safety of an intersection?
A lot of these intersections are located on some of the main corridors on Johns Island. And what you have is a lot of through traffic, but then you have a lot of people making turning movements. And that turning movement slows down the through traffic. So we're providing turn lanes to help move the turning traffic off of the through lanes so that the through lanes can continue through.
And that should mean more safety for the residents in that area, or in all of these areas. And we're going to be identifying the various areas on Johns Island, that intersections, that is, that will receive these improvements. A lot of folks on Johns Island, I know this is a little bit of a fact, travel very often in the area and outside of the area. The question that I have to you is, does this mean now that there will be fewer traffic jams? Will there be fewer, hopefully, fewer accidents? In other words, what will this mean in the way of improvements? I mean, what's going to happen different on Johns Island as a result of these improvements that isn't happening right now?
Well, I think you said it just right there, is that with the safety improvement projects, what will happen is reduced accidents and better flow of traffic. And by creating these intersections so that they're safer, when you come up to an intersection to make your right or left turn, you'll have better vision to see so that you're not pulling out into another car. So it'll definitely help improve safety and reduce accidents.
You know, I was on a street in Mount Pleasant not too long ago, and I noticed that the traffic that did not have a lane for turning only, let's just say a left-hand lane, people were crossing in front of each other trying to get over so that they could make that turn, that left turn or right turn or whatever. Are these projects going to do away with that kind of behavior?
Well, you see people do all kinds of crazy things
They do.
to help them, get to where they want to go. But this will definitely help. This will give them that dedicated right or left turn lane to get them where they're going and to do it safely.
You've been in this business for a while. Is this something new? Turning roads into right and left-hand turn lanes and maintaining through lanes, but giving people a chance to get off at their stop or where they want to make their turn without being hindered by the through lane. Does this happen very often? I mean, are cities doing this and counties doing this, or is this something new?
No, it's absolutely a concept that's been used for quite some time. Charleston County is lucky that we have that transportation sales tax program to help fund these improvements. I think a lot of other counties and states might not have the money available to make improvements like we do.
Now, we should say that transportation sales tax is making these projects possible.
That's right.
And county council signed off on them, and you've been assigned to make sure they get built.
That's right.
Have any of them been built yet?
Yeah, out of the 6, one of them has been constructed, and that is the right turn lane off of Maybank Highway onto River Road. And we've already received a lot of feedback from that improvement that it's definitely helping the traffic at that intersection of River Road and Maybank Highway.
I would imagine you expect the same comments from the others that are going to be changed or improvements will be made. But when we get to some of the other areas, first of all, let's identify some of these intersections. Main Road widening.
Yes, that
from
is
Brownswood Road to Maybank.
That's correct. The main improvement you're going to see at that intersection is the widening from Brownswood Road to Maybank Highway on Main Road. But the biggest improvement is going to coordinate the 2 traffic signals at those 2 intersections so that they will work together to help move traffic through.
Let me know which one has already been improved, but I'm going to sort of go down this list
Okay.
of 6. I believe 6 intersections are going to undergo improvement.
That's right.
All right, and then there's Brownswood Road at Murraywood Road, or Murraywood Road.
That's right. That's going to be a safety improvement project. What it's going to do is allow a right turn lane from Murraywood Road onto Brownswood Road and a right turn lane from Brownswood onto Murraywood Road. That intersection's kind of at a weird angle. It's a little bit unsafe. It's hard to see. So adding those turn lanes and improving those sight distance, it's definitely going to be a safety improvement project.
When you make these improvements, intersection improvements, that is, does it take a lot of time? You know, we citizens just don't like to wait when progress is trying to take place. And folks just want their roads done and done in a hurry and get out of there. How long does it take to make improvements like this? And then what are the things that get in the way that slow down the progress besides rain?
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to work in the rain.
Well, these projects were approved by County Council in July of 2012. And like I said, we've already got 1 constructed. 1 will be under construction in a couple months. 2 more in 6 months, you'll see construction starting. And then the other 2 will be maybe within a year. So we're moving very quickly on all these projects.
It takes a little while because you've got to go through a whole process. You've got to bid the work. Well, first of all, you've got to decide how this intersection improvement is going to be designed.
That's right.
And
all they were was identified at first. The next step we had to do was actually design them and get all the permitting in place before we can even go to construction.
And the Department of Transportation, what role do they play?
Well, they are actually the owners of all of these roads, so we have to get a permit through them for all of them.
So the Department of Transportation really owns these roads, even though we're using sales tax money to improve them, which is not different from a lot of the projects that we're making and that we're doing. That was the purpose of the sales tax, the half-cent sales tax, and apparently those dollars are really working. I want us to talk about some of the other projects that are going to be improved, and that will make up that list of 6. But first, we need to take a break. How about that?
Sounds
and
good.
we'll be right back with Molly Lemin, and she is construction project manager. And these managers are assigned, there are about, what, 4, 5, 6 of you?
Yes.
But they're assigned to various projects as these projects come up. And they take responsibility from the beginning of the project to the end. Once council says it's okay, we're going to do this, then one of these young men and young women who are so smart, they're given the opportunity to oversee that project or manage that project. We're going to talk more about Johns Island and what's going to be improved in terms of intersections when we come back. We'll be right back.
Hey, Charleston County, let's recycle. Charleston County makes it easy. Recycling glass, aluminum cans, steel and aerosol cans, plastics 1 to 7. We recycle them all. And don't forget paper. If it tears, recycle it. Even cardboard. Recycle at work, at home, and at play. So whether you're using the 2 curbside bin system and separating or the all-in-one roll cart system, keep recycling. Brought to you by Charleston County Environmental Management.
Welcome back to the Transportation Sales Tax Program, also known as Roadwise. We're talking today about improvements, intersection improvements, as a result of the half-cent sales tax that are going to be occurring in Johns Island or on Johns Island. And there are about 6 projects, and the young lady who's responsible for seeing to it that these projects are done and done on time and that everybody's happy when it's over, and she shoulders quite a responsibility, but not just Molly Lemin. In addition, there are other young engineers, and I call them young because they're not all young. There's a couple who are near my age, but the point is that each of the projects, and that's why I think this makes so much sense, each of the projects is assigned an engineer or someone who's familiar with doing these kinds of projects, and Molly gets to do one and the others get to do, in this case Molly has 6, and those are the Johns Island intersection improvements. And we already talked about Main Road widening from Brownswood Road to Maybank Highway. Let's just sort of recap that a little bit and then we'll go on with the next ones.
Yeah, that is widening from Brownswood Road to Maybank. But as I mentioned, the biggest improvement is coordinating the true traffic signals at both those intersections so that they are both flowing and coordinating together.
You know, I have to say this, but one of our colleagues that we work for here at the Transportation Sales Tax Office was saying that safety is a big factor, and that when turn lanes are included in a project, when a lane is dedicated to making a left or a right turn, it's less interference from the through traffic. And therefore, people, by the very fact that they're allowed to turn left or right just for them, it allows them to stay out of the way of the through traffic, and people are much safer. And I would imagine you agree with that. Is that the point of this whole thing anyway? Or one of the points?
Yes, most of them are safety improvements and include turn lanes, and that's exactly why, is to get that turning movement out of the through traffic.
Yeah, and you know, I was excited when I saw that happening in my neighborhood, my community, because it felt better. I didn't have to figure out how I was going to get over there to my lane so that I could turn. And I think that is a very important safety factor. Brownswood Road at Murraywood Road. Brownswood Road at Murraywood Road. Now that project.
That's right. That is one that, again, has the right turn lanes at the intersection, and that's to help get that turning movement out of that through traffic.
Will there be red lights or new lights, and will there be what do you call it, handman?
Yeah.
Those hands that go up and say, it's your turn, you can cross.
Right. At these intersections, there will not be any traffic signals included except for the first one that we talked about, where they're already at those locations, that we're just going to be timing them and coordinating them better. But all the other intersections will just be with the stop sign.
Okay. But Molly, tell us again, what exactly is going to happen when an intersection is improved? I mean, are there a lot of steps or just a few steps? And how long does it take?
Well, for these projects, design takes about 6 months, and then as soon as we get designs done, we have to work through the permitting phase. And each project's different, so different permits are required. But sometimes that could be as quick as 1 to 3 months, sometimes 6 months if we're impacting wetlands or something of that nature. So it just depends. But the construction is very quick. Once design is done, once permitting's done, and we're ready to go to construction, 3 months.
So basically what's going to happen in these projects is that you're going to lay asphalt?
That's right.
So the streets will be covered, the potholes will be improved, and is that the extent of the projects?
Yes.
In terms of improvements?
A lot of these intersections, as we mentioned, have a lot of traffic on them, got a lot of turning movement, so a lot of them are in poor condition. Mm-hmm. So not only are we adding the turn lanes, but we will be resurfacing the entire area of the intersection, which will definitely help improve it.
And folks will not be inconvenienced too much, will they?
Now, we always set up a traffic control plan, and we always abide by SCDOT's policies and the manual and uniform traffic control devices on how we set up our traffic control. Obviously, work does have to be done, but we do not close roads. We won't deter anyone from the intersection.
So there will be a lane open somewhere within these project areas.
Absolutely.
So that folks can still travel as they've done before, except that when it's all finished, and all finished includes a couple of months or a couple of weeks?
Yeah, most of these, probably 3 months. The major one, maybe 6 months.
Okay. No bicycle paths and all that kind of thing involved?
Not for these projects. These are in rural areas where bicyclists are not normally found, nor are pedestrians.
All right. The other one is River Road at Murraywood Road. And there's one we already talked about Brownswood Road at Murraywood Road. So this must be the other side of the street, or what?
Yeah, it's nearby. And River Road and Murraywood Road actually sees a lot of traffic. And this will be providing a left turn lane from River Road onto Murraywood Road. And that's something we're looking at right now. And we actually are taking in 2 different concepts of a turn lane, or possibly doing a roundabout at that intersection.
Wow.
So this is one of the ones that's taking us a little bit longer, because we're looking at all kinds of alternatives.
So the residents in these areas can expect some changes here in the next couple of weeks in terms of the work beginning?
Not for that project. We're still in the design concept
Okay.
phase, evaluating those alternatives. That's the one that will probably get done last, just because of the magnitude of that project.
All right. How about River Road at Plowground Road?
Right, that definitely is also a very busy intersection. River Road has a lot of through traffic, and that's one of those ones where we're going to be adding a right turn lane from River Road onto Plowground Road to help get that turning movement out of the through traffic.
Yeah, and it's amazing the number of people who've moved on to the islands, folks coming from all parts of the country. It seems that they enjoy this notion of living on the island. And John's Island, James Island, Young's Island, they're all beautiful. Such beautiful places. Let's see, River Road at Maybank Highway.
Yes, that is the one that's already been constructed, and we have received a lot of positive feedback from that project. That was the right turn lane from River Road onto Maybank Highway, and that worked out just fabulously.
And Old Charleston Highway at Main Road.
Yes, that intersection is a very, very dangerous intersection. And what we are proposing is some limited access off of Old Charleston Highway onto Main Road. Right now, we're still in the permitting process, but we expect to see some improvements on that intersection shortly.
So if we were to run down the improvements, we're simply saying that all of these roads or intersections that we just talked about, they will receive new asphalt covering. They are going to receive, what else?
With the turn lanes.
Turn lanes, yeah.
And for the one intersection, the timing of the signals is going to be a major improvement.
Absolutely. And this is a good way, a really good way to use those transportation sales tax dollars. We'll be right back.
Hey, Charleston County, let's recycle. Charleston County makes it easy. Recycling glass, aluminum cans, steel and aerosol cans, plastics 1 to 7. We recycle them all. And don't forget paper. If it tears, recycle it. Even cardboard. Recycle at work, at home, and at play. So whether you're using the 2 curbside bin system and separating, or the all-in-one roll cart system, keep recycling. Brought to you by Charleston County Environmental Management.
Welcome back to the Transportation Sales Tax Program, also known as Roadwise. My guest today is Molly Lemin, and she is construction manager and for a number of projects on Johns Island. And we've been talking about those projects that she is responsible for. But it's an interesting concept, the way the county does this. They have about 5 engineers, I guess. As I mentioned before, many of them very young and sharp. And these young people are responsible for taking on a project from beginning to end. And as we were saying during the break, once County Council decides, yes, we're going with this project, then it's in your hands or one of your colleagues' hands, and you bring this thing through till it's finished. Is that the idea?
That's right. When County Council approves it, At that point, it's mainly just a concept or an idea or here's what I think I want to do. But from that is where we really develop what needs to be done. And we'll do things such as survey, traffic studies, field visits, and evaluate what improvements really need to be made. And then from that point, we'll move forward with design.
So do you serve as the supervisor of all of this? I mean, you have several people. You should tell us who these people are. Somebody came in and made the bid for the project. Some company did. Do you get involved in that? Or is that the very beginning of the process, the bid? Or is it sending out information on the project and then people read it and they're given a certain amount of time to respond and then you open up? How does that happen?
Well, the projects are developed through, the allocation projects are developed through requests received from municipalities, cities, organizations, and they're evaluated, and that's what County Council uses to make their selection and approve the projects. From that point, they're delegated among the engineers in the office, and like you said, we have 6 engineers, so they're just divided among us. And from that point, yeah, it does go to a design firm, and our role is to manage that design firm with things such as the traffic study, the survey, and the actual design that they develop. And we'll do reviews and everything of what is put together.
Now, your training helps you understand that design. I imagine you could put together a design for a project if you need to yourself. I assume that you all have that kind of training as engineers. Is that correct?
Sometimes we will do design in-house if it's a smaller project. That is very rare. Normally we like to consult design out.
Yeah, but then you're supervising or looking over that whole project from the beginning until the end. And the last thing that occurs on a project like intersection improvements is what? Because I know that on some of the projects you go in and grass or put down grass or at least sow seeds as the very last finishing touch.
Yep.
I assume that that's true.
That's right. We oversee the project from beginning all the way to the very, very end. As I mentioned, through the design, and then we get into permitting. We review it all the way through permitting, and then we get it ready to bid for construction. We put together those documents. We get it out to bid. We select the firm for construction. And then from there, you know, it actually goes to construction, and we are still the project manager. We oversee all the construction for the project, all the way to the very end, through closeout, through the warranty period, everything.
What does RAIN mean for construction?